What are DUMBS? Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, bah'ashyam, Yahweh Shai, bah'ashyam, Racha Kwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. And as always, I would like to give double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, bah'ashyam, Yahweh Shai. And this is going to be a response video from a video that the brother Amawan Ibad did, as you see right here, the brother from the beloved brother from South Carolina. I mean, not South Carolina, Virginia. Okay, beloved brother from the state of Virginia. Okay, and in this video, he made mention of the so-called elites, the super wealthy and the super rich, retreating to these underground bases. He made mention of them, digging deep into the earth, which we know what that means. Okay, which DUMBS is an acronym for what? Deep underground military bases. And when the future prophecy of nuclear war breaks out during World War III, the super rich, the wealthy, the super rich, the super wealthy, the so-called elites, they will retreat to these deep underground military bases, because they know that these deep underground military bases will be strong and stable enough to protect anything underneath there from a violent earthquake. Because essentially, these deep underground military bases, they're not just built and designed to protect its people from a nuclear catastrophic event. These deep underground military bases are also strong enough to protect its people that's being sheltered from a violent earthquake. Okay? So they've been planning for this all along. And when I say they, I speak of the so-called elites that call themselves Rockefellers and Rothschilds. Okay? I speak of them. They've been planning for this. That's why they have something called deep underground military bases, which is really, thousands of feet below the earth. Okay, believe it or not, it's thousands of feet below the earth. And the only way you're getting in there is if you're super rich, if you're super wealthy, And when I say super rich, I'm not talking about the average rich person out there, Nah, you see, when I say super rich, I'm talking about these high-ranking government officials who are a part of the Illuminati. Okay, these people who are within the ring, within the circle of the satanic government. These high-ranking officials, and it's not going to just be high-ranking officials from the United States. And let me tell you something, They don't just have deep underground military bases in the United States. And you better best believe that these deep underground military bases, they connect from one country to another. So there's a deep underground military base in the United States that literally travels underground from the United States all the way to Europe. And then there's a deep underground military base that connects from Europe to Asia. You see what I mean? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play this video, and then I'm gonna continue from here.
Prophesy, or say before, just like this woman is describing. They're leaving. Not only are they leaving, but they have underground, multi-million-dollar mega mansions that average $18 million a piece.
And in a matter of fact, these mansions are more than millions of dollars. You know, some of these secret underground military bases, they have invested billions of dollars into, you know. And a lot of you people, you know, here it is. You've been working hard your whole life. Your grandparents have been working hard your whole life. Your uncle, your auntie, your cousins, your nephews, all of your family members have been working hard their whole life. And you know where their taxpayer money has been going towards? Something that you will never have a part of. And that's these deep underground military bases, which is capable of protecting you from a nuclear destruction. And how do we know that everyone that's in these secret underground military bases are going to survive the nuclear destruction if they're not down there betraying and killing one another? That is, how do we know that they're going to survive? Excuse me. How do we know that they are going to survive these nuclear catastrophic events? Because when we read scriptures like Jeremiah 16, then the Lord say He will send for many hunter, and they shall hunt him out of the holes of the rocks. Right. Also, I believe in is it Hosea or Amos, where it says and they shall say to the rocks, to the mountains of the rocks, fall on us and hide us from the wrath of the Lord. You see. Okay. Also, when we read books like Psalms, which I'm gonna get these scriptures inevitably, but you know, you read scriptures like Psalms 149. Let the high praises of the saints of the Lord be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to what? To execute vengeance upon the heathen, to God, to bind their what? Their kings and their nobles with fetters of iron. So we know that the so-called elites, we know that the super rich and the super wealthy, which is going to, you know, aside from the so-called elites, we know they're going to survive, but we know there's also others that's going to survive too. Okay, certain presidents, which will be your modern day kings from these different planets, you know, they're going to be in these secret underground bunkers. You know, certain high-ranking government officials from manifold countries are going to be in these deep underground military bases.
Though they dig into hell, then shall my hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. So they're also...
You see? And yeah, when it says though they climb up into heaven, that's talking about these secret outer space retreat bunkers that they have up there in with the up there in space underneath the Van Allen equator belt. Okay, because they already know they cannot get past that Van Allen's equator belt. Okay, because the moment they make an effort. The moment they make an effort to even try to get past that Van Allen equator belt, they're gonna get cooked alive. Okay, they're gonna get caught on fire. They're gonna burn. So we know that Ain't nobody been to the moon, none of that. So these outer space retreat bunkers that they have, okay, they're they're up there in space below the Van Allen equator belt, which is a part of the Earth. So ain't nobody escaping the Earth. But we know that there will be some who will survive the nuclear catastrophic events. So what are DUMBS? Just going to give you a little brief history on what DUMBS are.
We want, what do you call it, granular selection.
Since the beginning of mankind, humanity has been designing and engineering marvels of creation, from gigantic bridges, to waterways, to vast city structures, to modern-day times of artificial islands in Dubai and terraforming the planet, mass skyscrapers that reach to the clouds, huge stadiums of wrought iron and steel. But one thing many people fail to realize is the vast infrastructure and engineering that has been put into our foundations around America. Beneath our feet, underneath the very buildings that you...
Now, remember what I said about some of these secret underground military bases? How they invested billions of dollars into them? You see? They invested billions of dollars, and it's a classified document because they don't want people to know about these deep underground military bases. They don't want people to know about them because at the end of the day, the so-called elites, they don't give a fuck about you so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Indians, which are the true biblical Israelites of the Holy Scriptures.
Work inside of lays a myriad of underground highways, roads, cities, military bases.
You see that? And what do you think these underground highways are for? For international travel, to travel from one deep underground military base to another deep underground military base, which might be in another country.
And communities. In this video, I will show you old...
And you know what's interesting? They give you a good idea of what they're talking about in that Resident Evil 2 remake. Okay? If you ever played Resident Evil 2 remake, okay, when you get to a certain point in the game, okay, before you get to this area called Nest, there's this train, this underground train, right? It's deep underground. I mean, not too deep as in like thousands of feet, but there's this train underground that literally takes you to this secret underground laboratory, and they show you that in this game called Resident Evil 2 Remake. Okay, that they had this quick transportational train that took you from point A to point B within minutes. So this train was moving at what, maybe a little over 200 miles per hour. So when it comes to international travel underground, that's not a problem for them. You know, it could take them minutes. Maybe it could take them minutes. Maybe even a day, a whole day, just to go from one country to another deep underground through these underground trains and these different highways they have. You see?
YouTube footage of journalists that are far gone that have discovered these areas, these weird coincidences, and followed the paper trail of the trillions of missing dollars that have gone into paying for this.
Pentagon, the day before 9/11, Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld declared war, not on foreign terrorists.
The adversary is closer to home. It's the Pentagon bureaucracy.
He said money wasted by the military poses a serious threat.
In fact, it could be said that it's a matter of life and death.
Rumsfeld promised change, but the next day, the world changed. and in the rush to fund the war on terrorism, the war on waste seems to have been forgotten.
My '03 budget calls for more than $48 billion in new defense spending.
More money for the Pentagon when its own auditors admit the military cannot account for 25% of what it already spends.
According to some estimates, we cannot track $2.3 trillion in transactions.
2.3 trillion with a T. That's $8,000 for every man, woman, and child in America. To understand how the Pentagon can lose track of trillions, consider the case of one military accountant who tried to find out what happened to a mere 300 million.
We know it's gone, but we don't know what they spent it on.
Jim Minery, a former Marine turned whistleblower, is risking his job by speaking out for the first time about the millions he noticed were missing from one defense agency's balance sheets. Minery tried to follow the money trail, even crisscrossing the country looking for records.
The director looked at me and he says, "Why do you care about this stuff?" It took me aback, you know. My supervisor asked me why I care about doing a good job. So.
He was reassigned, and says officials then covered up the problem by just writing it off.
They got to cover it up. That's where the corruption comes in. They got to cover up.
You see, when the government admits that the plane during 9/11 that hit the Pentagon hit the exact part of the Pentagon that stored all the records for the missing trillions of dollars, you have to ask yourself, was that planned? And you even have to go further and say, is the 6 trillion?
It was planned. They had all this thought out, even going back into the early 1900s. Okay, and a proof of that is in the game Resident Evil 2, because these so-called elites, they like to show you what they have or what they're capable of, or they like to give you their variation of their own prophecies in their movies or video games. Now, and I'll never forget this, on Resident Evil 2 for the PlayStation 1, okay? Not Resident Evil 2 remake, but Resident Evil 2 for the PlayStation that came out in I believe it came out in the early 1900s. I'm not for sure. I think the game came out in 1999, but this it had to been around the 1900s. And a matter of fact, let's come over here and let's go to Google. Okay, let's type in Resident Evil 2 PlayStation 1 release date. Okay, because even in Resident Evil 2 for the PlayStation, they showed you what they had planned. Oh, look at that. It's 144. The Wada Yahweh Shai. Call Halayim La Alahayanawa Yahweh Bahashom Yahweh Shai. Hey baby, it's all about Yahweh Shai and the elect. So let's type in Resident Evil 2 PS1 release date. Okay, Resident Evil 2. There it is. Okay, this game came out in 1998. This was a PlayStation 1 game. Okay, and this was in 1998. Now let me remind you that this game was released in 1998. Now, we all knew that back then it took much longer to make a video game. So this game was probably in the making for maybe 2 or 3 years before it was released. So we're talking about 1995, 1996 was when the idea of this game being created was in development. And in this game, there was a scene when this guy right here, a Raccoon Police Department officer who go by the name of Leon, discovered that there was an underground passage below the sewers. Okay, below the sewers, there was an underground passage below the sewers, and below the sewers, he discovered that there was a train. Okay, he discovered that there was a train that that led to a secret underground laboratory called Nest. And you better best believe below these secret underground, but below these deep underground military base, well, you better best believe that, you know, below the earth, besides deep underground military bases, you better best believe that they do have secret underground laboratories down there as well. Okay, they're not just putting these things in video games because it's entertainment, you know, it's just pure coincidence. No, they actually do have secret underground laboratories where they actually do experiment on animals. They experiment with plants. They experiment with human beings. They, you know, all kind of heinous acts go on down there. They have child sex trafficking rings in these deep underground military bases. All the children that come up missing, okay, they get trafficked. Well, the vast majority of them get trafficked through these deep underground military bases, okay. Epstein's pedophile island, that's just the tip of the iceberg, okay. They have child sex trafficking rings deep underground, where these deep underground military highways and different passages, and where these deep underground military bases are. And guess what? All these children that come up missing, you know, these parents, you know, that's mourning, they crying because, you know, that their child went missing, and they can't find their child, and this, that, fourth, and the other. Guess what? Your child is a lost cause, man. And I hate to put it like that, but it's the truth, man. Because these people that rule the world, they are sick, they're demented, okay? They have no regard for life, none of that, okay? So this came out in 1996. So we know that deep underground military bases have been around even before the 1990s, okay? This has been an idea that has been in the making really since the 1970s. They've been had these deep underground military bases, okay? But again, because the so-called elites, they like to do that, you know, they'll have something, but they won't allow it to be known to the public until years later. Just like 9/11, okay? Let me see if I can find it. 9/11. Let me type in Terminator 2 Judgment Day 9/11. Let me see. Let me just type it in, okay? Now let's go to images and see what pops up here. Okay, because there was a scene in the movie when John Connor, he was on a run from liquid metal T-1000, okay, and there were two signs. See, he was on this road right here. There were two signs. Okay, on the left side of the sign it said 9, and then on the other side of the intersect highway it said 11. Okay, let me see. Let me see, you know what? Let's type in Terminator 2 Judgment Day highway scene. Okay, so I don't want to play the movie because here, I'm gonna pause it. Okay, so you can get out of here. Let's see. There was a scene, because see, they already knew there was going to be a 9/11 years before 9/11 even happened. Okay, and I just want to make the point. You see, So it's not this one. Okay. Okay, let me see. Bear with me for one moment. I'm making an effort to make a point here. Okay. Okay, let me see. Warning. Okay, it's within this scene somewhere. Come on. See, I believe it's this part right here. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna just try to play it in increments. See, 'cause it was right here on this. It was right here on this side. You could clearly see the number. Okay, but I mean, you can pretty much check it out for yourself. Okay, you can barely see it, but okay, you can see the 9 right here, right? And then what do you see right here? You see 11. Okay, you can see the 9. I know it's blurry, you know. But here, let me see if I can put it in HD for you. Okay, you see that? That gives you a clearer view. You see the 9 right there, and then you see, what do you see right here? You see 11. You see 9, 11. And Terminator 2 came out in the 1900s. Okay, you can clearly see it right there. So they knew about 9/11 long before the year 2001 came. Okay, and there's various movies, you know, showing, you know, showing 9/11 before it actually happened. And in the movie Back to the Future, okay, they show 9/11, and what did they show in that movie? They show 2 towers going down. Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Okay, release date. Hit enter. See what comes up here. Okay. Terminator 2 Judgment Day release date. Okay, that's a lie. Terminator 2 Judgment Day did not come out in August 25th, 2007. Here we go. This movie came out in 1991. Okay, 1991. Think about that. That's what? 10 years? That's 10 years before the year 2001 came on the scene. Why does Google want to know my location? It's none of your business. Shut the fuck up. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and play this video. But I just wanted to make a point that, you know, deep underground military bases have been in the making for years before they allowed it to be known on the internet.
$1 missing dollars accurate? Could it be more? Could it be greater than 60?
Yeah, these trillions of dollars have been invested into these deep underground military bases because the so-called elites knew that there will be a nuclear catastrophic event. And how did they know that? Because they read the scriptures. Okay, the Lord allowed them to have a little bit of enlightenment. Remember, in the book of Ezekiel, it tells you that the children of this world, who are the children of this world? That's the Edomites, so-called white people, started with the so-called elites. The children of this world are wiser than the children of light. And who are the children of light? Those are the Israelites, the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Indians. So these devils, they have biblical scholars that study the scriptures in and out. So if you want to know why the so-called elites call themselves the Illuminati, the heads of the Illuminati, which the word Illuminati means light holder or enlightened ones, because they have been enlightened to the truth. Okay, they know about the biblical prophecies. Why do you think they work so hard to keep you people in the dark as to what's going on? Because they don't want you people to know about what's about to happen on the earth. But they know. That's why they're retreating to these underground bunkers.
Trillion. Remember the 6 trillion as we proceed forward in this documentary. This missing money is not used to fill the pockets of the rich and elite. They already have their old money. This money is used for black projects and, in my opinion, and vast underground infrastructure that is used for the continuity of government and the vile people in an emergency. This is where the elite will go into hiding. Also, many of these reports indicate massive prison-like structures underground, massive caged areas where all the barbed wire points inside. We all know about Gitmo and other black sites that are used for jails like Abu Ghraib prison in Iraq. But the scariest of these prisons are hidden, far from human eye, and deep underground. And the underground cities is just like the above ground. It is easy to label all underground military bases as that, military bases. But the CIA has their own independent underground facilities, the FBI, every faction out there is operating underground in their own area. First, I would like to show you what is possible. We are going to look at some underground footage of around the world, various YouTube videos I will put in here. Get comfy and just understand that we have already engineered mass tunnels underground. We have declassified documents of Cheyenne Mountain, of Mount Weather, of all these known underground facilities. And I'd like you to take note of recent projects like subway designs and all the infrastructure we have going on right now. Around the world, there's underground explosions being heard and felt in New York City, Los Angeles. Unexplainable things, but I can explain it. They are expanding their infrastructure with your money.
Oh, did you hear that? And that's what I said from the very beginning of this video. Okay, all of you people, your hard-earned money that you're working for, your tax-paying money, okay, that they're taking out of your checks every week, every 2 weeks, every month, whatever. Your hard-earned money, whether if your uncle's working hard for this money, your cousin, your nephew, your cousins, whoever, they're taking money out, all the money that's being taken out of your checks. They're not just going to military funding. They're not just going towards Ukraine. They're going towards these underground infrastructures. And like I said, they're expanding these deep underground military bases. For what? International trade and international travel underground. Okay? And the explosions that you hear underground, it's possible that they could be using dynamite to blow off certain areas, to expand the regions. Okay, now let's go to the KJV. So, again, I wanted to land back off of this beloved brother Amawan I bought from the Virginia camp. Okay, beautiful video the brother did. Let's go to Jeremiah, because you devils, you're going to survive the the nuclear catastrophic events, you're going to survive it. But guess what? The scriptures also say that you're going to go right into captivity. Jeremiah 16 verse 16. Behold, I will send for many fishers, save the Lord. Save the Lord Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. And they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters. And they shall hunt them from every mountain. Okay, now, right now, we are fishers. Now, in the book of Matthew, what did Yahweh Shai say to Peter? Okay, and his sibling that was in the boat with him, he said, follow him, and he shall make them fishers of men. So right now, the Lord have made us fishers, and we are fishers of men. But we're not fishing for just any old men. We are fishing for the Lord's elect, okay? And the Holy Scriptures is the fishing rod that we're using to lure in, all manner of fish, whether they be good or bad, okay? The bad fish, of course, is cast back into the ocean, while the good fish is brought into the Lord's vessels, okay? Meaning, the truth, because it is Yahweh Shai that wakes up his elect men to the truth, you see. So behold, I will send for many fishers. So right now, Lord's will, we are of the elect, okay? That's why we say that we're hoping to be of the elect, because at the end of the day, we're all hoping to receive mercy from the Heavenly Father Yahweh and his Son Yahweh Shai, okay? It says, behold, I will send for many fishers, save the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain. Okay, now we know that anybody that's up in those mountains are not going to survive, okay? So we know that it's not talking about, mountains that are above the earth. We're talking about mountains that are below the earth, okay? A mountain don't have to be above the earth. A mountain doesn't have to be something on ground level above the earth to be a mountain. No, there's mountains underground. I bet you people didn't know that, huh? There's mountains underground. Okay? Do you know how big mountains are? Okay. There's mountains that expand thousands of feet below the ocean. There's mountains underneath the ocean. So you better best believe that there are mountains underground, deep underground. You see, so they shall hunt them from every mountain, and from every hill, and out of the holes of the rocks. Okay. Now, what I would like to do is go to the Blue Letter Bible, right? And because I would like to look up this word holes. What is the Hebrew word for holes there? Let's get the definition on it. Okay. So let's go to Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 16, and let's look it up. Jeremiah 16, verse 16. Behold, I will send for many fishers, save the Lord, Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters. So the Lord is going to make his elect men hunters. And in those days, they will have spiritual power. So they'll be able to travel through these deep underground military bases and know where these super rich and super wealthy and these so-called elites are hiding at. Or they could just simply teleport to their location. They don't have to do all that damn traveling, I'm telling you, man, that the Lord's elect, they're gonna get creative, man. They're gonna be traveling as shadows, and you know, in these deep underground military bases. You know, these motherfuckers, they're gonna be experiencing flickering lights. Oh shit! They gonna see the lights flickering down there. Oh shit! They're coming for us. Yeah, you damn fucking right, you devils. And y'all asses are going head first right into slavery. It says, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks. Let's look up some holes here. Okay. Holes. Out of the holes of the rocks. It's talking about underground. Holes. Let's see what we get here. That's a pretty big. So we got Nakwayak. Okay? And right here we see cleft of a rock. Okay? Down here we see what? We see from an unused root, meaning to bore a cleft hole. To bore, like when you're boring something, that means you're digging into it. Matter of fact, let's look up the word bore. Let's go to Google and type in bore. The word bore means to pierce through or to dig into. Bore definition. You see? It says make a hole in something, especially with a revolving tool. And they have things like drilling machines. A drilling machine is specifically designed for drilling into mountains. You see? It says the hollow, something that's hollow means that it's empty on the inside. The hollow part inside a gun barrel or other tube. And that's what a tunnel is. A secret underground tunnel is basically a tube. It's an open space that you can travel through. And down here they give some examples. Borehole, hole, a well. Well is another example. Shaft, pit, okay, tunnel, you see. So let's go back to the KJV. Okay. So that brother Amawan Abad, he brought out Amos 9, okay? Amos 9. And I'll just type in 1 because I don't know the exact verse. So let's see. Here it is, Amos 9 and 2. Amos chapter 9 verse 2. It says, though they dig into hell. Okay, hold on now. Hold on. You know, because you got guys out there that, you know, IUIC pushing that hell doctrine. You know, when the Israelites die, they're going to burn in hell forever. Okay, so wait a minute. How the hell is you going to dig into hell when you're too busy suffering? Okay, who the hell would want to dig into a place where people are being tormented and burning forever? So it makes no sense. Okay, there's no such place called hell where people burn forever. There's no such place. Okay, but that's a lesson for another time. It says though they dig into hell, right? Now hell here, hell is either a condition that's played out here on earth. Like I'll give you an example. The white man's heaven is the black man's hell. Heard that saying before? Okay, yeah, well we're catching hell. Why? Because we're suffering. Okay, so hell is a condition. Hell can also be the ground, the grave. Though they dig into the ground, right? Though they dig into the ground, thence shall my hand take them. And who is the Lord's hand? That's Yahweh Shai. But guess what? The elect, they're going to be joint heirs with Yahushua, and they're going to have the privilege of joining Yahushua and gathering these devils up and throwing their asses headfirst into slavery. Thence shall my hand take them, though they climb up to heaven. Thence will I bring them down, right? Because they're going to be them outer space bunkers. But guess what? They're going to come right back down to the earth in chains and shackles. Talking about the super rich, especially the so-called elites. Now, let me get one more scripture and I'll close it out. Okay. This video has served its purpose, so I can go ahead and close that out. Bible. And they said to the rocks, fall on us and hide us. KJV. Revelation 6. There it is. Because hey, when Yahushua come back, man, he coming back to do some serious damage, and these cowards, they're going to be hiding from our precious Lord and Savior Yahushua in that day. They're going to be hiding from him. So, oh shit, it's Yahushua. They was right. The prophecies are right. But we're screwed. Yep. You all of you so-called elites are screwed. Okay? When Yahushua come back, y'all are screwed. So let's start at verse 15 here. Revelation 6 and 15. And the kings of the earth and the great men and the rich men. Oh, hold on. Who are the kings of the earth? That's talking about your presidents, these different presidents. But the number one kings on the earth are the so-called elites. Okay, so we're going to just get that out of the way first. The so-called elites are the number one kings on the earth. Okay, they call themselves Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and they branched off into other so-called elite families like the DuPonts, the Oppenheimers, the Gettys, okay, the Disneys, and there's many other. Okay, there's a total of 13 Illuminati family bloodlines, which have ties to the so-called elites. Okay, so it says, "And the kings of the earth and the great men." Who are the great men? That's talking about your wealthy men. Okay, and the great men. It could be your entertainers, the best of the best entertainers, the best of the best sports players, okay? And the great men, and the rich men, the rich and wealthy, and the chief captains and the mighty men. Who are the mighty men? That's talking about the military. Because remember, the so-called elites, they have their own military. Why do you think they're called deep underground military bases? Have anybody ever thought that the so-called elites have their own military called the UN? And the mighty men and every bondman, that's your slave men right there, because you better best believe they have slaves down there, making these deep underground military bases. Okay, and you better best believe the vast majority of these bondmen are Israelites, kidnapped from different parts of the globe and forced into slave labor. Rather if they're being kidnapped from Brazil, rather if they're being kidnapped from Argentina, rather if they're being kidnapped from Arabia, from Africa, from Asia, Europe, okay? And every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. What mountains? The mountains deep underground. Okay? So they hid themselves deep underground. That's what the scripture is saying. Okay? And it said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us. Now, is it talking about, they looked up at a big fucking piece of rock underground. They said, fall on us, hide us from the wrath of the Lord. And then the rock came down and smashed their ass to death. No, that's not what it's talking about. When they said to the rocks, fall on us, in other words, they were saying, protect us. Protect us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. And who's the Lamb? That's Yahweh Shai. He's the Lamb. Okay? And who is he that sitteth upon the face of the throne? That's Yahweh, the Heavenly Father. Whom in these last days he's going to send his son Yahweh Shai back to deliver his elect man from the coming nuclear catastrophe. But as for the rest of you who are not of the elect, you're going to get caught up in this nuclear destruction. Okay? You're not going to make it. The only ones that's going to survive the nuclear catastrophe are the so-called elites, the super rich and the wealthy. With that, I'm going to say shalom, and on to the next one.